Hey everyone, so I just wanted to give you an update. I have finally upgraded cameras. This was my main shooting camera, the T1i EOS Rebel. This is the original lens it came with. I don't use that much anymore, but I thought I'd put it on there for memories. Well, I finally upgraded to a slightly bigger camera. This is the 7D Mark II. I've got my 70 by 200 millimeter lens attached to it, and a dual battery pack attachment to the bottom, so it's even bigger than usual. And I've had a little bit of practice with it so far, and it is an amazing camera. There's a bit of a size comparison for you though. Look at that. That is a big difference. I mean, the lens is obviously a larger lens, but just body size is enormously different. So I'm gonna go out today, do some test shooting with it so that I get used to it before I shoot anything too important. So let's go see what I can do with the 7D Mark II for the first time I've ever used it. For the entirety of this video, I will be switching between my Canon 70 by 200 millimeter 2.8 f lens and my Sigma 1.8 f 20 millimeter fixed. So this is gonna be model number 1 for me. It's my old best dog, Sadie. Say hi, Sadie. Yeah, whatever. She's used to being in front of a camera quite a lot, so we're gonna go out and have her run around and try to take some cool frozen images of her jumping over bushes and stuff like that. My second model, this is Frank. He's my little too close to look at dog. He's my little pug mix. He actually showed up. I don't know if he escaped from his house or somebody tossed him out on my property, but he just showed up all starved and covered in cuts and sap and everything. So he's going to be model number 2. I can't usually trust him off a leash, but I figure he'd be kind of fun to watch and cute to see run around with his floppy ears and his pudgy little face. So he'll be model number 2. Alright. Really, anytime I get a new piece of gear, I always try to photograph things that are not very important photographically. Obviously, my dogs are very important to me, but you know, they're just photos of my dogs. But it's a very fun way to break in and get used to new gear because it allows me to do a lot of different kinds of shooting, low light, speed, you know, really experiment with what my new gear can do, while at the same time just, you know, going out and working with my dogs. So if I mess something up, it's not a problem. I just delete it or don't use it because it's just a photo of my dog. It's not, you know, a photograph of a championship racehorse or, you know, a motorcycle rally. It's just fun out shooting with your dogs, and sometimes that's just the best way to learn, is just to have fun with it.
Sit. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, Sadie, come on.
I have to admit, when I looked at this image in the back of my camera, the little preview, I actually jumped. I couldn't believe that was my sweet little pity girl running at me. And that's just what I love about the real fast shutter speeds, is catching just these instant little moments of expression, and it's a lot of fun to do that. I've never had a camera that shot so fast, so it's really nice to go out and photograph things in ways that you can't see with the human eye.
Sadie, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Sadie, come on, come on, Sadie, come on, come on, come on, come on. Good girl.
So what you're seeing right now is the reason that I train with my gear. I probably had her do this running about 4 or 5 times before I wanted to give her a break, and I got no shots from it. Not one. Not a single photograph worked out because I had a setting wrong, and didn't matter at all. I just missed 27 photographs of my dog. Boo-hoo. But I couldn't imagine if I'd missed an entire photo shoot just because I had an autofocus setting wrong. So always nice to learn those kind of lessons.
out with your dog and not out with a client.
So I'm doing something I would normally forbid, which is I'm actually deleting photographs in the camera. But I think I'm gonna have to start doing that with this camera's burst mode. It's just so fast that you're just gonna run out of memory card if you don't delete. So I'm only deleting really obviously photographs I don't want, like that. So everything else stays, but it's going to be interesting getting used to erasing images in camera, because normally I would never do that. Oh well, that's a good problem to have, I think. So way down there is my horse, who's not very friendly, but I'm going to try to get a couple shots of her running around. And then I don't know if you can hear it in the background, there are some guinea hens and chickens that I'm also going to get some shots of to try out. So, good little setup, I think.
Especially with new gear, I always go and shoot everything I can think of. The 7D Mark II specialty is definitely in like sports photography and journalism. That's really its prime focus. But, you know, the same camera that shoots a grisly war scene can shoot a beautiful portrait. And I really emphasize to photographers that you need to learn how to use your gear in all different environments. So I just wanted to show what I was photographing. I came home one day and it was raining, so I went and let the dogs out, and in this part of Nevada, it's the desert and it's bloody hot. So when you get some cooler weather, everything just wants to go outside and play. So I was just letting my dogs out into the field to just go nuts. But I wanted to give a little perspective on the upcoming photos. So this is what the kind of speed they're running at. It's been a very long time since I just went out to take photos for fun, you know. And God, photographing them in the rain was just fantastic. It was so much fun, and you know, the 7D Mark II has way better weather sealing than my previous camera, so I didn't have to worry about the camera nearly as much, and I could just focus on the autofocus, you know, shutter speeds, and I had a fantastic time with it. So every time I drive back to my house from going to town, I always see wild horse herds, and I've kind of decided that if I live somewhere where there's wild horses all the time, why am I not photographing wild horses all the time? Most of what I do photographing wild horses is finding a herd, finding a place to shoot from, and then spending an enormous amount of time waiting. And I'm just waiting for them to do something or the light to change. But if you want to shoot them, you just have to spend the time to do it. It can absolutely be worth it, though. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you go home without a single usable frame, but sometimes the light just changes till it's right. But I wasn't kidding. Since I've decided to go out and photograph horses every time I see them, I have spent in the last week probably 8 hours sitting on rocks. And it just kind of drags on, and you just get used to it. And you're photographing horses, wild ones, so you can't have your smartphone, you can't have music playing, and it is a complete separation from the modern world, and it is fantastic. But when it works out and you're in the right place at the right time, it's all absolutely worth it. These silhouettes of these horses are among some of my favorite wild horse photographs I've ever taken. And what I'm more excited about even than that is that without the 7D Mark II, I probably wouldn't have been able to get those shots with my older cameras. So it's nice to have some reassurance you spent money in the right place. I know urban exploration is really in its heyday right now of popularity, but I've always loved just completely abandoned little farmhouses out in the middle of nowhere. There's just something about the just the human structure absolutely being destroyed and taken back by nature. And I don't mean this in some kind of like hippie, we're all part of the earth way. I mean, it's just really pretty. I love seeing, a chimney with a fern growing out of it or something like that. I don't know if it's overdone too much, but whenever I get into aspens, I just can't resist doing black and white photography. And I usually am shooting thinking about making it a black and white image. And with the abandoned shed, I went all black and white on all of these, and it's really nice to go shoot. If I'm ever there and better lighting, I will definitely make a detour to go reshoot that area. So, if you're not on the West Coast, you may not believe me if you're on the East Coast, but we are in, I think, either 4 or 5 years of a major drought, and we should have quite a lot of snow right now, and we're running on 0 basically. We've got I think in one place we've got 3% of snowpack, and that's where we get most of our water from. So this year I'm hoping to do kind of a photo essay on the effects of the drought. So right now I'm photographing these ski resorts, which would normally be fully open and trying to pack people in. They're now, barely running on a couple of slopes, and there's mud everywhere. So this is what I mean by it doesn't always work out. I got out to Donner Lake, set up, waited for sunset, and instead of a sunset, it sort of just got darker. And I mean, that happens sometimes. Alright, that is it for this week's episode. The image you're looking at now is kind of a sneak preview for next week's episode. Pretty excited about it. If you'd like to see any of the images you saw today in full resolution, please take a look at the Flickr account below. If you'd like to see more of my work, I've included my website, my iStock account, and my 500px. If you'd like to purchase any photos, just contact me, and we'll get something worked out. Look forward to putting out the next episode. Pretty excited about it. So it's just about my work with the wild horses, which has been going really well. So we will talk then.